Welcome back. Well, we hope you enjoyed that video, which just gave you a flavour of the amount of sessions that we have in our content tracks this year. It was great also to see all of our experts who spent weeks and months preparing all this content for you guys to enjoy. So plenty out there. Thomas showed you a little earlier how to go through the session contract, how to find recommendations, and how to build up your own agenda. For the next hour, we're going to have a focus on SAP S/4HANA Cloud. So I think Jürgen talked a little bit in his keynote speech about how this is really the clean core at the center of our overall vision. So a really interesting topic. We've got lots coming in the next hour between strategy talks, customer interviews. But before we do that, we know that there's a huge community around SAP S/4HANA Cloud. And maybe, Thomas, you could maybe show us a little bit about that.
Yeah, and I think that's exactly the moment again to have a little bit of look into the community and a demo around it. So to show you a little bit more how lively the SAP community is around certain topics and what the community members can experience and what they can get out from the discussions, from the questions, and also from having the information. So I'm still seeing like if we can get the demo up. Is it possible? If not, then
No.
Just a second, okay, I get. So we will working on the thing, so it will come up. But as I said, like the community and the S/4HANA Cloud community has done a great job over the last year to really revamp the community and to build out a lot of information. So what we see now is the SAP community. As I mentioned, the community is over 3 million people out there. Like this is what we're seeing coming in every month. So this is great. This is kudos to you all out there and to really being very active with the community around it. So what you can see, and we want to jump into a topic, and the easiest way to do it is just to search for the topic. So if I go for S/4HANA Cloud, because that's all what we want to focus on in the next hour, I can get a search and then can, for example, jump into the topic pages. So if I go to S/4HANA Cloud, you see already some familiar faces which will come up later, and also the discussion. So the team is doing an amazing job to keep the community, to keep everybody who is in the journey of moving to S/4HANA Cloud informed, updated. If there's a new release coming out, they're putting plenty of information out. This is exactly the value what SAP can give to the community, but also then helping in the background, helping with the discussions. And this is where we have experts coming in from the SAP side, but also more and more experts also from the community. Like if I know something, how I can help another customer or another partner, this is exactly the great environment around the community. And also, just to point it out, of course, some of these topics, like S/4HANA Cloud, are gigantic. So there's a lot of information, and that's why we're trying to work it very easily. So for example, if I want to go into a subtopic, let's say S/4HANA Cloud for finance, I can jump right into that space and have all the information available. Here exactly what I said, like what's coming up with the latest release, and I can go into that one. Plus, I have the community content. So the community content is the interactive content. So this might be blog posts, it might be questions coming in from the community, and it also allows you to search for it. So if I'm just interested in, let's say, blog posts, I can surf them up and see for exactly this topic, S/4HANA Cloud Finance, what are the people discussing in these blog posts, what are the comments around it, etc. Same then also for question and answers. And question and answers allow you then to really drill down and see, okay, what has been answered. And a lot what we see is in the community, because people have questions like, how do I do a certain configuration? Where do I can get more information about it? And that's exactly where they come to the Q&A, put in the question. Is exactly also where we then work with the experts to help you to get you the answers. And you can drill down just answers which have been completed and so on. So there's plenty of functionality in the community. One thing I want to point out, and I want to do a little bit of switch over on the community because Thomas Young pointed it out before with the chat also, is the groups functionality. And since we have TechEd right now, the team has put together a so-called TechEd group. And the TechEd group gives you a chance to stay together as a community around different topics from TechEd. And the chat team, the developer advocates, what they are doing is also putting certain questions, what they're picking up in the chat and taking the stuff over into the community. So this question, I know, RAP versus CAP versus MTA was one before, and so the team took this over, and now a discussion is continuing in the community, and this allows us then like really to stay in touch with you. Like for example, how does it fit into it? And you have community member going into, Thomas Young is explaining where to find more information. Also, I know someone said like before, we love acronyms. Yes, we do love acronyms, like what's CAP, what's RAP, what's MTS. So we're also explaining this one in the community. So there's plenty of information available. And also, since I saw it before, there's a lot of other information around Casimir the cat. And we're getting a lot of questions. So you can also go to community and discuss Casimir. So I don't know if he's, oh, there he is. So he's always around in the community, but also here on stage.
Okay, so with that, we'll just go through quickly our agenda and then we'll go straight to reintroduce Wolfgang again. So in this hour, what we can expect is we're going to have a strategy talk with Jan Gilg. And not only will he be going through the strategy, but he will also be talking to us a little bit about a customer that he's working with. So we're looking forward to hearing from Jan. Following that, we have an expert Q&A with a number of people who need no introduction. Sven Denecken, I don't think it would be TechEd without him. We also have Stefan Batzdorf and also Paul Saunders. So get your questions in. They will be waiting to answer them. Before we dive into all of that, let's check back in with Wolfgang. Wolfgang, how you doing?
Great, I hope. Thanks for having me in as well. So, yeah, well, the last time I was presenting the first rough idea, the first sketches. And when I went off stage, I thought about it again. It wasn't really inspiring to me. So I was looking for more kind of a technical aspect and also for more of kind of, I think, a science fiction aspect as well, because I like science fiction. And you're a tech company. And in the past, TechEd always was kind of introducing the spaceship of SAP, you remember. So, and I thought about, and we are here on a planet of premise, or a planet on premise. And the planet on premise is actually kind of suffering from these impacts of the pandemic asteroids. So the corona asteroids are hitting the planet, and there's also the global crisis. So this is now the emotional crisis we are in at the moment. And there's help out there. And help is coming from the BTB spaceship. So this is pretty much the spaceship that is going to save us. It is, you see pretty much this hand. So you're building hands for the businesses to be rescued. Everyone is going to have an individual journey. But eventually, this is kind of the idea I'm having. And here are then the businesses, the safe businesses are having a kind of a protection shield with by using all the technologies and tools of the business technology platform. So this is currently the idea. Of course, there's Casimir as well, just a rough sketch of Casimir. And the boost, so pretty much the fuel right now is the use case or the individual use case or driving the business technology platform. We have the SAP Discovery Center, the free tiers, and what I'm going to do with this section, I'm not sure about. I'm going to find something, yeah, definitely. And there's the flag that every company is becoming a tech company sitting on the business technology platform.
That looks excellent. And I think Casimir is delighted to feature.
Yeah. So pretty much this is the idea for the moment. I like it personally. If you can provide me some feedback as well. Do you like it?
I like it, but it's also like something maybe the community or the viewers on Channel 1, so you can also go into the chat and maybe You can
Yeah.
get some inspirations or like maybe doing some little voting. I like this one, I like that one better.
Yeah, so if the community is having some insights as well, I'm just up for it.
Cool.
And you know, I think it's wonderful. We talked a lot about the sustainability of our planet. So I love how you've brought that in as part of the overall theme. So yeah, I think that's perfect.
Yeah, okay. Thank you so much. So,
Thank you.
Thank you.
See you
Well,
see
soon.
you the next time.
See you next time.
Yeah, looking forward. Okay, good. So next up we have the strategy talk, and there's nobody better than Jan Gilg joining us. He's president of SAP S/4HANA, and he will go a little bit into, or definitely deeper into, why S/4HANA Cloud, the core of agility, flexibility, and a resilient, intelligent enterprise. Looking into different scenarios as well. I think this is very important. And last but not least, he's also bringing in PricewaterhouseCoopers, who is the biggest live customer on S/4HANA Cloud. So with that, I would say let's not stop and let's roll the strategy talk from Jan Gilg.
Hello and welcome. I think we have all heard the statistic that 94% of the world's 500 largest companies are run on SAP. I think I might have mentioned it last year at TechEd. It is indeed a mind-boggling fact. But what about the customers who are not moving fast enough to reimagine their fast-aging business? Most businesses who still struggle with everyday market challenges. A great example is a company like American Air Filter. Their aging ERP systems were harming their ability to meet and exceed customer expectations. It prevented them from improving operating margins and achieving significant revenue growth. They implemented SAP S/4HANA as their digital core, leveraged analytics and enablement tools and services for optimal transition to SAP S/4HANA Cloud. They also increased the speed of their digital transformation, and they enabled critical decision-making. At the end of the day, AAF was looking for a complete view of their business. They were looking for agility, speed, insights, and last but not least, one version of the truth, drawing on data from their intelligent cloud ERP. SAP S/4HANA gives our customers the ability to adapt, customize, and be more resilient in today's challenging markets. Utilizing the best platform with Business Technology Platform, the best applications for industry cloud and line of business, and a superior partner ecosystem. We are helping our customers change the game. We support companies to become intelligent enterprises. For an enterprise to run intelligently, it must run integrated end-to-end business processes powered by data. Today's challenges require entirely new levels of flexibility, resiliency, and time to value. The breadth and depth of our portfolio makes this possible. We integrate both technology and business processes to deliver significant value. For example, through our integrated suite of business applications, including intelligent spend, human experience management, customer experience, and SAP S/4HANA. Our holistic modular cloud ERP and business solutions include embedded cross-product analytics to deepen the intelligence. It includes embedded experience management, gauging sentiment to continuously improve. It offers a seamless user experience that puts the end user at the center, and it is extendable with other SAP and non-SAP solutions. It does run on SAP Business Technology Platform. To support customers on their individual journey, we offer a true business transformation as a service with RISE with SAP. It is anchored by SAP S/4HANA and will ultimately help accelerate the digital transformation for our customers, taking them from where they are today to become an intelligent enterprise. SAP S/4HANA Cloud puts insight into actions by combining the analytical and the transactional world. And with that, we are actually able to reimagine business processes for our customers. In fact, with SAP S/4HANA Cloud, we have a solution for various lines of businesses. For instance, we are offering completely redesigned accounting for the CFO. Or we are addressing the chief revenue officer with everything as a service that really allows companies to transform their business models towards usage and outcome-based business models. Or we are addressing the head of supply chain with synchronized planning. And with that, SAP S/4HANA truly becomes a platform for growth, and it helps you reimagine processes and get ready for the next decades to come. But let's talk about customers that are using SAP S/4HANA Cloud. Our customer, PricewaterhouseCoopers, is one of the best examples of intelligent business transformation with SAP S/4HANA Cloud. They had a successful go-live in July with pilot countries in Germany and Austria. It is currently the biggest SAP S/4HANA Cloud installation with more than 26,000 users. I thought it would be best to have a conversation with Stefan Frühauf, project and change leader from PwC, and invite him to tell us about their journey with SAP S/4HANA Cloud. Welcome, Stefan.
Hello, Jan.
PwC is live on SAP S/4HANA Cloud, and in fact, they are the largest customer to date with more than 26,000 users. So the first question, obviously, Stefan, why did you pick SAP S/4HANA Cloud? And maybe you can talk a little bit about some of the benefits that you were looking for.
Thank you for the question, Jan, and welcome everybody. So yes, as you said, we consciously picked S4 in the cloud, in the public cloud actually, Professional Services Edition, which is our industry for PwC. Our selection at the time was really that we thought, okay, can we use S4 and the standardization that the cloud gives us to help us standardize our own processes? We were in the middle of consolidating some territories in Europe and wanted to make sure that we follow all the same process, which also leads me then to the capabilities and the constant innovation we expect from the cloud, that we hope that by continuously upgrading the solution, we can avoid the big upgrades which we otherwise had to do every year, and therefore benefit from the constant innovation and improvement. And last but not least, we as PwC wanted to credentialize ourselves. We have a lot of joint customers who will have to go through the transformation and move into the cloud, and we wanted to experience this firsthand, what this means, so that we then can help our clients to go there and move into the cloud and run the transformation projects.
Yeah, no, thank you very much. And actually, I hear quite a bit from the outside world that S/4HANA Cloud is mainly for small or mid-sized companies. Now, PwC obviously is a large company in the professional services industry. And I believe you're also planning to have further rollouts even globally. So what is your perspective on that?
Yeah, so we don't really think that the size of the company matters. What you have to consider is whether you are able to adopt the standards the cloud and the public cloud offers you. Because it is not that you adjust the technology to your business, it is you adjust the business processes to the standards the technology provides you. And you need to analyze whether this is possible for your business and whether it fits in your business. As you say, we plan to roll the solution out further in the PwC network. We now have piloted it in Germany and Austria. That's the 26,000 users you talk about. We have a wave 2 planned with the Netherlands, Belgium, and Switzerland. And then other territories, including some of the larger territories in our network, will follow. So ultimately, we have or will have a significant user base on the solution. All of them then following more or less the same business process, which helps us consolidate also the support function and make it easier if you want to design new solutions, not only in the core, but also surrounding the core, to make it as easy as possible for our people to work with us, so to speak.
Yeah, and that's an interesting point. You mentioned our surrounding solutions, and I know that you have built also some of the extensions actually to the standard processes on the business technology platform. And that has been also an ongoing discussion between my team and your teams, what actually are capabilities that should be part of the standard shipment that comes then from us, and what are things that are more PwC specific or differentiating, which you would build on the business technology platform in a way that it is integrated then into S/4HANA Cloud. Maybe you could elaborate a little bit more on that as well.
Absolutely. So when we first looked at the solution probably 2 years ago, we realized that the solution is good and the technology is good, but there were some capabilities missing, which we needed to support our business. And we then jointly, together with your team, developed certain gaps which were existing at the time in a core innovation project, which was actually really helpful because it brought the capabilities we were looking for in the core. But we also realized that there were certain things we were looking for that you were not really interested in bringing in the core, where we then used the platform to really develop PwC-specific solutions. We do this in a way, and we hope that it works, that is what still has to be proven, that your upgrades of the core in the future will actually keep still the extensions we have intact, so that we can benefit from the improvements in the core without losing our PwC-specific tailorization we did outside.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And maybe you can spend a few words also on the project itself. I assume it was quite a different experience than a typical on-premise project. And since you're coming also from the on-premise world, you have been a customer of ECC before. So maybe talk a little bit about what has been different.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the main difference I would describe, it is not necessarily only a technology project. It is equally, if not more so, a change management project. So what we found is that the technology, especially in the core, actually works. Yes, you need to configure it. Yes, you need to integrate it. Yes, you need to bring it to life in your own kind of infrastructure. But the key differentiator is that the business and the end users need to adopt to new processes and to processes that you can configure and adjust a little bit, but they are basically standard processes provided by SAP. And that is where you have to put a lot of emphasis on working together with the business users to really make them understand what the process looks like, how it is designed, and then how we best bring it to life in our environment. So it's a joint project with the business side, and that was actually an interesting challenge to get the business people being interested in the project and work with us to make it successful.
Yeah, so really truly a transformational project actually, with a lot of change management in it. And then I believe it's also not a project that has ended now with the go live. There's more to come. Maybe you can talk a little bit about what's next.
Well, that is, first of all, as said before, it was a conscious choice to hope that we get constant upgrades and constant improvements of the solution. That is also what we need to learn to work together, because you now provide a service to us rather than a product which we own. So we work together to understand how this relationship works in the future from a service solution. And we therefore build our business as usual function to support the solution. We then, as said, want to roll out the solution to other territories. And we want to improve the user experience for our end users. So what we realized is that you can do a lot of configuration in the solution. And we took some decisions at the beginning from the central team. Yes, together with the business, but still in a central team. Now, by using the solution in reality, we realized that we need to work together with the end users to really observe what they do, where, how their screens look like, where they click, how difficult it is for them to go through a specific process, and ideally improve that. And that is what we want to do after the hypercare phase, that we go into a user experience study to improve the experience of our end users.
Yeah, thanks so much, Stefan, for sharing those insights. I think that was very helpful for the audience as well. I'm certainly looking forward to continuing to work with you and your team on the continuous journey with SAP S/4HANA Cloud. Everybody, thanks so much for watching. And don't forget to check out the chance to learn from all the offerings at SAP TechEd this year too. We have some great learning recommendations to expand your conference experience. Find all the great content there. Enjoy your learnings. Thank you and bye.
Well, that was some amazing insights from Jan and PwC. 26,000 users in the cloud. That's quite a lot, right?
That's a lot.
Yeah. So as you can see, we have moved from the rooftop to the kitchen, and Casimir has joined us behind me here. He's having a bit of good time. I see a lovely coffee machine over there, Thomas. I did see in your video to get here that you are quite the coffee maker.
Yeah, it's one addiction, slightly. Good coffee. Sometimes not too much, but a good coffee. That's what I like.
Absolutely. So we're going to jump straight into our expert Q&A. So please keep your questions coming in. We have some really interesting experts for you today. First of all, we have Sven Denecken. As I said, it wouldn't be Tech Ed without him. And he is Senior Vice President, Chief Operating Officer, and Head of Product Success. With him, we have Paul Saunders, who's Head of Product Strategy and Chief Evangelist for the Cloud, and Stefan Batzdorf, who's Head of Cross-Product Architecture and our CTO. Welcome, guys. Really great to have you here.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you very much.
Perfect. Now, so welcome. And of course, I have to ask the question to Sven. How many tickets have you done, Sven?
Oh gosh, with even not trying to expose me now, right? So I think the first one should be around 205, 206-ish. So I have seen some of them.
Okay, and you probably had like a full strike through with all the tickets, as I can remember.
Yeah.
Good.
And we had some coffee there together. For sure.
I know. So, can you share a little bit about your responsibility now?
Yeah, so one thing which keeps stable over the time that I appreciate to make my hands dirty with clients and in projects and learning from that, because that's the best, how you can influence a product afterwards. And I think I kept that pretty stable without a couple of roles in between. Now, just a year ago, someone asked me to take a second job, which is the CEO of S4HANA for the same paycheck. So, well, we'll try to get that done, and then helping with the help of Paul and Stefan to put the euros and the dollars on the right part of the environment and move that forward.
Cool. Next one, Stefan, you are also a staple at SAP. You have been here a few years. How long are you working for SAP?
This September, 20 years, yeah.
Oh, good.
Started very young as a Java developer back then in the portals area. It was fun.
Okay. And now you're in the CTO role for S4HANA. What keeps you going on that role?
Yeah, actually, also the same motivation as Sven, it's the customers. And in my special role, I'm constantly fighting to move SAP and its customers to the cloud, to manage that everybody becomes a cloud company, that also customers run their ERP systems in the cloud, whatever kind of level it is. And so working with new technologies, defining the future ERP in the cloud, and this is something that challenged me every day.
Excellent. So, Paul, I guess that makes you our new kid on the block, but delighted to have you here. So you came to us from Gartner, so that's really interesting. I'd be very interested to hear what made you decide to join SAP and what your impressions are so far. Any big surprises?
I don't think any big surprises. I was fortunate during my time at Gartner to be the what's called the vendor lead analyst covering SAP. So it was kind of like a very long onboarding into the organization. And it was actually that opportunity. I mean, I was really fortunate. Gartner's a great company to work for, and I got to talk to some of the world's leading tech companies and the people that created them and the executives there and so on. And I spent a lot of time talking about SAP. And the reason that I wanted to join SAP is really because of the company and the people. And it sounds kind of a little bit twee, but everybody at SAP is 100% committed to what it is we're doing. And I think, having the opportunity to kind of see it from the outside, you think, well, maybe they're just putting on a good show for Gartner. Now I'm on the inside, I'm like, actually, no, this is actually what we believe in. And so that's, I wouldn't say it's a surprise. It's kind of very positive affirmation more than anything else.
Yeah.
Perfect. Good. It's very good to see there's plenty of questions coming in. There's also a lot of live viewers on this session here. So guys, I can tell you this is popular. So one question which comes in from the viewers, what is the difference between S/4HANA on-premise and S/4HANA Private Cloud Edition? Is it the same product? Who can take that on?
I'm happy to start. No, it's definitely different products. And S/4HANA on-premise, or we call it any premise, the customer is owning the software, owning the complete stack. It is like you want to do a pizza and you have to bake it, you have to eat it at home. The S/4HANA Private Cloud Edition, RISE with SAP, is a single instance operation of a public cloud. We operate it on any kind of hyperscalers, partner together with service implementers and SIs. They're doing the backend operations and the updates for the database, for example, and the NetWeaver stack. And then we have SAPs doing the operations of the cloud of the S/4HANA application stack. You have a bit more, as a customer, a bit more flexibility, more level of control than in a true SaaS cloud, which is also our S/4HANA cloud, because here you just consume software as a service. And in the private cloud, you have more levels of flexibility to also control the updates, what needs to be done, especially when you have higher level or higher degree of customization within your system.
Maybe to add also one notion is the differences is not on the name, and we like to confuse the market with many different names and never changing. I think it's the degree of standardization, and that also goes in hand with the readiness of the client to accept the standardization. That's not good and bad. It's just how ready you are. And the standardization, I will for sure have other questions on that one, how far you can go. I think the ultimate level on the highest degree of standardization is a SaaS solution, but it also needs to enable a certain amount of flexibility in guardrails. Now, if you deliver something on the customer premises, which is on-premise, you can literally do what you want. The problem is if you do what you want, you also run a high risk of not standardizing. And I think that's how we need to look at those different named deployment models whatsoever. What is really the best at the current situation of a client?
Excellent answer, yeah. So another question coming in here, which I think is quite interesting, and maybe Paul might be one for you. We know cybersecurity is a big fear for many of our customers, and some of the reasons they hesitate moving to the cloud is for those very reasons. And one of the main people we find that might have this kind of fear is our CFOs. Is their financial data secure in the cloud? So Paul, maybe you might take this one from an industry perspective, but also what is SAP doing to reassure those CFOs?
So that's an interesting one. So I spent many years as a CIO, as an end user, as a customer of SAP, and I think the original fear of the cloud was largely based around the unknown and the security piece, and are we handing over stuff that if I've got a couple of people in the corner office, I can send them out and they can reboot the server and they can do what I tell them to do. CFOs, by their very nature, they need to know what's going on within the business, and they need to be in control of that business. I think when it comes to cloud security, there are very few companies that can do cloud security as well as the hyperscalers can. There's very few companies that can invest as much money into application security as companies like SAP have. So I would say it's really for a CFO, that argument or that fear is something that, and actually the gentleman from PwC, I think, said it perfectly. This is not, any move to the cloud is a cultural change as much, if not more, than it is a technology change. And I think this is where things like RISE come in, where it's the transformation as a service, where we can help you, understand what are those risks and what are the things that you need to really be focusing your effort on. So I think that's, the security piece is almost like a little bit of a red herring in that CFO fear. It's the fear, can I change? Can I hand over some of the control? And again, as PwC said, the relationship then between our customers and us as SAP changes. We're not just selling software, we're partnering with you for the business. And so I don't know, Stefan or Sven, whether you want to add to that, but I think it's a mindset change.
Perfectly said.
Yep.
Excellent.
Good. The next question, I read it. Can we please have some more details about brownfield approach? Do you know what this means?
Maybe I give it a start. Of course, there are different concepts how a customer can approach a new solution or actually a service, because we're not talking about software here. We're talking about software as a service. And those approaches, all of them can be valid, but you need to be careful and you need to get a good advice about what is the right approach for your current situation. And greenfield, like implementing something, maybe side by side, very new, very fresh. And brownfield, more, what can I take over from what I have? Now, it gets trickier depending on who is helping you to do that and what is the motivation to take things that you already have with you. And that's why sometimes it sounds simpler, but you need to be very clear, what do you want to achieve? Which degree of standardization you want to get? So we engage in all of those different permutations of the avenue to get there. And then again, RISE gives you a good environment to do so. But I would not say judge them against each other, analyze properly where you are and then pick the right one.
Exactly. And there is no right way or wrong way towards SAP S/4HANA. It can be greenfield, can be brownfield, can be something in the middle. You have to ask yourself, where do I want to be with my company in 10 years from now? Am I happy with the current business processes that I have? Is my business stable? Do I want to continue like that? Then a brownfield approach can be the right choice for you because you persist. And as Sven said, you retain the good assets within your company, move to SAP S/4HANA, and then you can selectively implement innovations and activate innovations. If you think I have to radically change my business because I'm not fit for the future, then a greenfield approach might be best.
Excellent, very well put. So another one, which is an interesting one for me, I come from the SAP times of all the transaction codes, which I could probably list off still now. How best can we approach moving our users from these old classic transactions to our new Fiori apps?
I'm sure who wants to take it. Let me start.
Okay.
It's always a change. S/4HANA, and as Stefan from PwC said, it's a change effort. You have to carefully manage the change. Fiori is not just a nice fancy UI HTML5 which replaces a single GUI application. Fiori combines analytical with transactional, or analytical insights with transactions. It provides predictive analytics in there. So you should start carefully, select certain business processes where you want to focus on improving them, focus on information, especially insights to action. For example, in your production process, when you want to see demand-driven replenishment, what are the materials running out in the sales process, if you're working in the front office and interact with customers and need to have dashboards, then Fiori can really make sense, providing you the insights. And then you have some Power back-end processes. It can be also sometimes accounts receivable, where your counting clerks rather like to work with a GUI, then it is also okay. But really start with dashboards, start with certain workflow apps and predictive analytics, and then rechange one process after the other, and your end users will see the benefits.
Good. Next question I have is, how does scaling work with S/4HANA Cloud? Is there outer scaling of the underlying HANA database, or do you get warned of reaching the limits and more memory is needed?
So scale out, of course, is a very important concept, and we run ultra large customers. I think we even have stats on that, on actually that environment that comes with S/4HANA. I personally, of course, have seen projects where the optimization of sizing should have been done more. And it's mostly also customers who grow very fast. But absolutely, we look at that, and that's what our support guys constantly do. I think the scale-out concept itself was by purpose always intended and has a good notion. But again, not every customer will reach those limits at any time.
That sounds good. The other thing that just came in here today we're talking for this hour specifically about S/4HANA Cloud, but we have some questions coming in saying, is S/4HANA Cloud, as in the SAS, our only focus for the future, or will there still be investment for these type of solutions on premise?
I can jump in on that one first. I can't remember which of my esteemed colleagues here just said this a few minutes ago, but there is no right and there is no wrong. And it's what is best for your business, and most importantly, for your, for how you can help, your business grow the top line, the bottom line, and the green line. So the thing that's really important is when you think about, kind of moving to the cloud, whether that's a SaaS solution, private cloud solution, or whether you want to stay on premise, is it the right thing for your business? Now, we all know that the general direction of technology is everything over time is moving to cloud. But the cloud itself is changing as we speak. So it's really, really important for us as SAP to not dictate to our customers, you need to do this or you need to do that. And actually, my former colleagues at Gartner published a lovely research note right as I was leaving entitled, "The Future of Cloud Will Be Dictated by Customers." And I think this is a really important thing. It's your technology selection should not be dictated by the vendor. And what we do as SAP is to say, look, we know that there are customers for whom SaaS is a perfect solution. Like PwC, they want to standardize, they want to take that innovation, they want to drive themselves forward. Perfect fit for them. There's going to be others that, as Sven said, is going to give you a little bit more freedom, and you think, well, private cloud might be the right thing. And there's going to be others that are going to say, look, we're going to keep this on premise, and maybe we'll move other things in the cloud in a hybrid kind of way. One doesn't make you better than the other. We feel that the S/4HANA Cloud, the SaaS, is where there's a huge opportunity for many of our existing customers, because the reason that they are where they are today is not because that's the ideal way for them to operate, but that's the way they've grown into it over time. And moving to cloud requires companies like us to help you as a customer to change that mindset, to say, look, this isn't about the technology. Nobody comes into your shop, into your business and buys something from you because of how you deploy your ERP solutions. It's what you do with those capabilities that drive the value.
Yeah, and then building on that, it's absolutely right what Paul said. I think this is also where SAP is much better in its collaboration with the ecosystem and the clients than the classic cloud 1.0 vendors who only have cloud only one way. They're punishing their customers for non-flexibility. I think we're further ahead with the choices, but with a very clear conviction that more and more SaaS is healthy. And that's why we also, and you saw in the announcement earlier from Jürgen in the keynotes, that the differentiating part even comes on top if you're in SaaS, and that's needed in ERP. And that's the beauty that we deliver with embedded steampunk was one. And Thomas, all of us have been working on that code name. Mr. Puppy Guy? No. So definitely, I think that is something where cloud is evolving always and constantly. And that's the beauty to be in that business, actually.
Perfect.
Excellent. Well, look, thank you so much for taking the time. I can tell you there has been so many participants on the chat, on the Q&A. It's clearly a super popular topic, and they didn't shy away from giving you some tough questions. So thank you so much for being brave enough to take them on and for having you here today. So thank you again, Sven, Paul, Stefan. Great to see you.
Thanks for having us, and good show going forward.
Thank you very much. Wow. Okay, that was. They pulled no punches in the chat, right? They're really asking them some serious questions.
They kept us busy, and there's still we could have gone another 10 minutes, 20 minutes. So thanks and kudos also to everybody out there putting in the question. This interactivity, it's exactly what we wanted to get. So really, really happy about it. But of course, there's more to learn around SAP S/4HANA Cloud. And one of the big topics is, of course, RISE. And some of the questions are still out there. So if you want to go deeper, there is a session DT 112 for you to check out. They're focusing on RISE and to really go into the details and what to expect. Another one, a lot of discussions right now in the Q&A is about the journey to the cloud. And it is a journey, it's a mindset, what to expect. So there is also a session DT 108, and that's all about the transition to S/4HANA Cloud.
Absolutely, and I think Jürgen touched on it very well in his keynote today that the past year, the pandemic has accelerated the digital transformation for a lot of companies. So a lot of our companies out there have already made that decision. So we would recommend some great sessions about how you get started. The first one we look at is in the area of migration tooling. So we look at DT 109, and this is talking about our migration cockpit for S/4HANA to help you with your implementation. We also have looking at the architecture going forward with SAP S/4HANA, so really going deep, and we have DT 105 for that as well. We also know that, as much as we would love everything to be coming as a greenfield, clean core, we have customers who do have custom code they need to bring with them. And for that, we recommend you go to DT 100, where we'll help you thinking about how you can streamline that transformation with custom code and also with all the RISE tools involved in that as well. So certainly a lot of sessions to check out on this topic. It's never been a better time to look into it.
Good. And of course, there's a full track available as well. So if you want to go to the sessions, and also there's hands-on included, not only sessions. So that's something for you to check out. You can, as said, drill down by product or just into a track to learn more. And if there was still some questions not answered, the teams are doing still the best work in the background to go through and give you all the answers. So please keep chatting, please keep putting your answers in. Of course, outside of TechEd, I showed it earlier, the community is there for you to help. You also saw some familiar faces on the community. I know the team who was coming on here from the experts, they're constantly blogging. So there's a lot of information and help available from SAP and also from the community. And with this, we also want to put a little bit a spotlight onto our partners. And of course, technology and solutions also rely on our ecosystem. It's not just SAP who can do everything. So this is why we have great partnerships. And one of them is SUSE. SUSE is a long-standing partner with SAP. And for the technology overview, we have Markus Noga. He's VP for Solution Technology at SUSE. And we want to share a little bit more about what SUSE is doing and how they're partnering with SAP.
Hi everyone, I'm really excited to be speaking with Markus Noga, VP Solutions Technology at SUSE. Hi Markus.
Hi Abadisi, pleased to be with you today.
Thank you. My first question, why does SAP S/4HANA matter?
Well, Abadisi, the last year and a half has really taught us all having the right digital platform for your business is not just important, it's a matter of survival. We've seen unprecedented demand shocks, like running out of noodles, canned goods, and toilet paper. We've also seen unprecedented supply shocks, like the Ever Given blocking the Suez Channel. And we have a whole new understanding of mission critical, like vaccine production and vaccine distribution. S/4HANA on SUSE enables those truly mission critical missions today.
So important. And what are customers looking for? And what are their challenges?
That's a great question, Abadisi. We spoke with ASOC and they identified three major themes that customers struggle with today. Over 40% lack the in-house skills to deal with new technologies. Another 35% struggle with incompatibility between products and offerings. And about the same percentage struggles with just plain old upgrades. We're hearing broadly the same in our customer advisory boards and in our support calls. For example, some very large enterprises recently ran into heavy water just before their go live because of compatibility, technology, and configuration challenges that SUSE had to help to ensure a successful go live.
So how can SUSE help here?
We're addressing these challenges head on at DC. We're making the S/4HANA infrastructure easier to deploy and to manage both on-premise and in the cloud. Last year, we helped automate deployments of complete S/4HANA landscapes into the cloud by helping administrators set up an SAP environment quickly and reliably without having to invest into new skills. This year, we built an early warning radar for our customers. We expanded monitoring beyond the operating system to also cover your high availability clusters, the SAP HANA and the NetWeaver applications, so customers can detect problems even before they occur. And we optimized our SAP tuning for Amazon, Azure, and Google, so you're always best run on cloud. In addition, we've validated SUSE Linux as the only common criteria EAL4+ certified operating system in the free world with automated security hardening, so you don't have to worry about compatibility or security ever. Coming up for end of year, and what I'm most excited about, we aim to release a new operations solution based on Project Trento. This adds automated rules checking so that you are always best practice compliant, and it integrates monitoring and visualization. This is a true game changer, which our advisory board customers are already raving about.
Wow, that does sound very impressive. Can you tell me a bit more about recent success stories?
Sure, Abadisi. SUSE helps customers like Carhartt to transform from being a wholesale business to going direct to consumer and direct to enterprise. They are running S/4HANA on SUSE on Azure, controlled by SUSE Manager, and they just eliminated the monthly outage that cost them $1 million every month. Another example is Microsoft. SUSE helps Microsoft seamlessly run highly available SAP HANA systems on their cloud and on-premise, pre-configured with SAP requirements.
Such incredible examples. Where can folks learn more?
The one place to go for all your SUSE needs at TechEd is suse.com/TechEd.
Thanks, Marcus.
Thank you, Abadisi.
Well, that's us. That's the end of the hour. Gosh, that's hard to believe.
Yeah, it went by so fast. A lot of interactivity, a lot of great sessions, a lot of great guests.
Yeah, and I think our guest removed any barriers people may have about moving to the cloud.
No, and I think it's also a good discussion. I also see how many people are active. So this is exactly what we wanted to have from TechEd. And thanks to you for chiming in and doing all the hard questions and keeping the interactivity high at TechEd. That's exactly what we want.
Exactly. But time to say goodbye.
Yeah, so for us, it's a quick break, I think. But the program will continue, of course. There's more great sessions here on Channel 1. And with that, I think we take our break.
Take a break. See you soon.